Hey, today I want to really quickly put you on game about a sneaky way that this undercurrent of shame, guilt, anxiety, and apathy sort of creeps in, one almost imperceptible little layer at a time, right? And it's sort of like that thing where if you put one rubber band around something, you can easily snap it. Two, still can easily snap it. 3, 4, 5, 10, now you can't, no matter how hard you pull. And the same thing happens unwittingly for us as men from this thing that I'm about to share with you. So if you're at all familiar with the Dr. David Hawkins power versus force chart, it calibrates the frequency of different feelings and emotions from the worst, lowest, apathy and shame and guilt. Those are three distinct ones. I think apathy is at the very bottom. I believe enlightenment is at the very top, calibrating at 1,000. And courage is the first neutral level. So everything up until courage is considered negative, right? Anger, I think, is the highest negative one. There's pride. I think maybe pride's above anger. There is desire, etc. Now, if you are a person who's walking around constantly with an undercurrent, right? A subconscious undercurrent of shame, guilt, free-floating anxiety, etc., it's going to be the source of most of our thoughts, moods, feelings, and therefore our decisions and our actions and our habits, therefore our results, our personality, our state, and our lives, right? Because all of your actions and decisions and habits are downstream from your thoughts, your feelings, right? And your thoughts and your feelings are downstream from your self-identity, your beliefs, and what's in your subconscious. So think of it like a plant planted in soil is going to reflect in its health or lack of health as it grows whatever's in the soil, right? You can take the seeds of the exact same kind of plant and plant one seed in soil that's toxic and unhealthy, and you can plant the seed of the exact same type of plant in soil that's really rich and abundant in nutrients, and both may grow, but they're going to grow very differently. They're the same plant, but they're going to grow very differently because they're drawing from the soil. They're drawing from the subconscious, if you will, okay? If your soil, your subconscious, if your soil is filled with anxiety, shame, guilt, apathy, etc., it's going to manifest, it's going to make itself manifest, known in a lot of different unhappy ways, unwanted ways. And the sneaky way that so many of us are constantly creating little layers and films that we're putting onto our life of shame, guilt, and apathy is not doing what we know we should be doing based upon what it is that we say we want and don't want. There's a verse in the Bible that says that unto something like, unto him who knows what to do, if he doesn't do it, to him it's a sin. That's very interesting, because if you break that down, what it's really saying is somebody else not doing something might not be a sin to them. But to you, if you know that that's something you need to be doing for yourself and you're not doing it, to you it's a sin. The way I think of this is you have to be in alignment with your assignment, okay? I'm not saying that as some religious jingle. Let me break that down for you in a very practical sense. Let's say you're an athlete, all right? D1 athlete, play for a major NFL football team. You ask any coach, and any coach or any serious professional athlete, and they'll tell you that state of mind, right? Mental conditioning, mindset, the thoughts you hold, the beliefs that you hold, the words that you speak, your visualization practice are a key component of an athlete's ability to perform. So in the, pun intended, hard-hitting environment of the NFL, where fluff and woo-woo has no place, in that hard-hitting environment that is truly measured by tangible, measurable results or lack thereof, much attention and energy and priority is given to mindset, mental state, mental conditioning, visualization, right, etc. Okay. If an athlete doesn't do what they know they need to be doing in order to perform well in their sport, let's say football player, to that athlete, they are sinning metaphysically here. I'm not explaining the Bible from a religious perspective. I'm explaining it from a metaphysical perspective. By the way, most Christians have absolutely no idea what sin really is. Sin is not being righteous, and not being righteous is not standing in congruence in your identity with who and what you know you're supposed to be, aka, see a aforementioned phrase, be in alignment with your assignment. Now, how can you know what your assignment is as just an everyday person? One of the simplest ways is guilt. Think of it this way. Guilt is your guideline. Wherever you feel guilty about something, having done something or not done something, that's your guideline that you were in misalignment with your assignment. For example, let's say that you have a physique or fitness or health goal, all right? But you just keep consistently pigging out at night, eating pizza, drinking beer. And the next morning, you feel guilt. That right there is your consciousness, right? Your true identity, allowing you to feel guilt, because guilt there is now your guideline. It's your feedback loop that you were in misalignment with your assignment. And so to you, that's a sin. Again, not a religious sin, but a sin of identity and righteousness. Let's say that you have a goal to build a business, and a part of what you know you need to do based upon your current knowledge of how to grow the business is that you need to make 10 sales calls a day, let's just say as an example. Not making those 10 sales calls a day, if you feel any kind of guilt afterwards, the next day, at the end of the week, having not done that, guilt is your guideline. You were not in alignment with your assignment. Remember the example that I used a few minutes ago about how if you plant a seed of any plant in the soil, whatever soil it's in, it's going to draw from, right? Here's another thing to think about that metaphor, or that analogy. Within every seed is the DNA of its highest and best expression. So a tiny little seed can be a healthy, abundant apple tree. A tiny little seed can be a big pine tree. A tiny little seed can be a giant redwood oak. Are they oak trees? Redwood pines? The redwoods, whatever they are. Giant tree, right? Giant oak tree. And every one of those seeds, it ain't confused about who and what it is. You put it in soil and it will begin to manifest its DNA, aka it is always in alignment with its assignment and it knows what it needs. So let me explain something to you. Y'all gotta stop feeling confused about whether you're following God's plan or not, or whether you're doing the right thing or not. If you are coming at it from a place of love, contribution, loving yourself, loving the world, loving others, loving thy neighbor as you love yourself, contribution, wanting to create value, and as long as you're thinking about what to do next and where to go in life from that state, your desires, ideas, and things that you think of doing are the DNA of your seed, your greatest and highest self, speaking to you in your current state, where you're at now, of what you need to do to become that apple tree, that oak tree, that pine tree, aka your greatest and highest self, and the greatest expression and manifestation of who you are, your assignment. Does that make sense? So if you feel guilt around something, having done it or not done it, guilt is a guideline to tell you whether you are in alignment with your assignment or not. the more you keep not doing the things that you know you should be doing and doing the things that you know you shouldn't be doing, they might seem small. Skipping a call's here, not eating right there. But what happens is that if you constantly keep doing that, subconsciously, you're going to feel some shame, some guilt. More shame, more guilt. More shame, more guilt, apathy, anxiety. And that's what your subconscious soil starts to become permeated with. And then all your thoughts, feelings, and moods start to spring from that. Start to manifest from that, grow from that. Are you with me? Do you get what I'm saying? This is a metaphysical breakdown of our human experience. And so you don't need a guru or a pope with a really cool hat or a preacher or a sage to tell you when you feel guilt or shame or not. Your own conscience will speak to you. That's God speaking to you. Because your conscience is God speaking to you. And you have a DNA, like a seed of some version where there is a greatest and highest expression of you. And when you're not in alignment with that assignment, you feel guilt, shame. So use guilt as a guideline and stop doing the things that give you guilt. Start doing the things that would also not give you guilt, because not doing them is creating guilt. And watch what happens in very short order to your overall state, mood, your consistent new auto thoughts, feelings, perspective. You do this for even 30 days, 40 days. You do this for even 3 days, you'll start to feel a shift. You do it for 7, you'll feel significant momentum. You do it for 40, you'll feel like a new person. That's why the Bible constantly brings up 3, 7, and 40, especially in the context of people who go through change and transformation manifestation. All right, so guilt is your guideline. And if you're not in alignment with your assignment, you're going to constantly be, through your habits, decisions, actions, deeds, etc., you're going to be constantly creating an undercurrent subconsciously of shame and guilt. And over time, that's going to be like 100 rubber bands keeping you trapped. Start cutting those one at a time with every righteous decision and choice in thought, word, and deed that is in alignment with your assignment. Again, your assignment is whatever you naturally feel you need to be doing and going after when you get into a state mentally and emotionally get into a state of love, peace, kindness, contribution. Get into a state like that. Think about where you want to go in life, and whatever that answer is, that's in your DNA to accomplish that. Because an apple seed doesn't think about non-apple tree things. It doesn't desire things that don't help it become an apple tree. A pine seed doesn't think about or want things that don't help it to become a pine tree. Same thing for an oak seed, same thing for you.